In the 17th century, Shahjahan transformed Delhi into his capital. He wanted to build the largest mosque in India. Under his reign, Mughal architecture began its classical era. The emperor initiated the most ambitious program in the history of Islamic art. Before the construction of the Jama Masjid, he had built a monument that would go down in architectural history. The Taj Mahal, an incredible white marble mausoleum built for his beloved and deceased wife, Mumtaz Mahal. White marble was at the time the most noble, the most precious material. Shahjahan asked that the Mosque of Delhi also be adorned with it, inlaid in red sandstone.
The Mughal Emperor had an ambitious vision, and he implemented this vision in monuments. He competed with other kings like the Ottoman Emperor and the Safavid king of Iran. And so one important thing for the Jama Masjid is that it's enormous. Until then, no other mosque had been built on this scale.
The huge Jama Masjid follows the classic pattern of a quadrilateral with 3 large gates to the north, east, and south. The west wall, consisting of the covered prayer hall, faces Mecca. The emperor wanted it elevated, built like a fortress. It thus offered a refuge to Muslims in the event of conflict with the country's other religions. The Mughals from Central Asia were not necessarily welcome on this Hindu land, and there were many battles. However, they arrived in India with a great mastery of the arts of sculpture and stone carving.
The Mughals had come from an area where mosaic, beautiful, intricate design tiles were used in Central Asia. Well, that technique was not known to Indians then, and they had no other alternative than to use colored stone, which was abundantly found all around India. And Shahjahan exploited that perfectly. And the idea was from Persia, but the artisans were Indians. So there are many features now which we find is neither in purely of, which could be termed purely Persian or purely Indian for that. It's a blend.
This mixture of artistic influences allowed the emergence of a new style unique to Emperor Shahjahan. The bulbous domes in white marble are characteristic of the sacred monuments built during his reign. They could already be found on the Taj Mahal. Here at the Jama Masjid, their whiteness, symbol of purity, contrasts with the density of red sandstone. Inspired by plant shapes, the sandstone arches are serrated like tree leaves. They can be seen everywhere in the mosque, repeated over and over. The entire architecture of the place is based on this principle of repetition of decorative elements.
Inside, there are prayer mats made of stone, marble, and blackstone. And the inscription behind me, which is a long inscription, is in a beautiful calligraphy, and it is made without using any other material. It is only stone.
These calligraphies tell the story, the anecdotes that punctuated the construction of the mosque. We learn, for example, that it cost 1,000,000 rupees, a considerable sum for the time, knowing that some walls were inlaid with semi-precious stones, now disappeared.